going to make some kind of a statement from the US. You got an idea, obviously, the rough idea is who's going to fight and where he's going to fight next.
I don't know who would be fighting, but I'm assuming he's not going to be fighting on these shores. I can't envisage at this stage in the development where he hasn't gone through the prerequisite process, which he hasn't done. It's not, going through UCAD and UCAD's appeal and then actually presenting a defence rather than using a jurisdictional technicality to get out of the obligations that he has under strict liability, shouldn't allow him to fight in this country under the British Boxing Board Control licensing.
So I'm hearing that he's got an American license, and I think they are trying to get him to box in Orlando on Saturday night, the 23rd.
Admirable.
Saturday night, the 23rd.
Saturday night, the 23rd. That's what I'm hearing.
This Saturday night.
This Saturday night.
On the same night as Frank's got Joe Joyce going in against Zhang.
That's what I'm hearing.
Do we know an opponent?
Don't know an opponent, no. No.
Frank, what's your take on all of this? There's been so many conversations around Conor Benn. We saw what happened with Dillian White. We saw what happened with Robert Hellenius. Now, Conor has said he's been innocent and he would always prove his innocence.
Then prove it.
Well, he would say he has done. He's about to fight again.
He hasn't. Because he's not been... There has been no hearing for him to explain... There's been no hearing for him to explain why those prohibited substances he tested for were in his system. He has given no explanation to a hearing to UCAD who do that on behalf of the board. He has not done that. They've had a hearing where they argued quite successfully. His lawyer, who's a top guy, very, very clever lawyer, who's argued about jurisdiction. It shouldn't be about jurisdiction. It should be, why is that in your system? How did it get in there? Please give us a valid explanation. And by the way, we want to look at the B sample as well.
If, as expected, Simon, and judging from what Spencer's saying, Orlando, unnamed opponent, but as early as this Saturday, whether anybody likes it or not, he's back.
To some degree, yeah. I mean, if you're going to be able to... it depends. It all depends.
He's back to box somewhere like Orlando. I don't think he can box on these shores right now.
But it depends what the British Boxing Board of Control, what attitude they want to take to it. Because if they take a very hardline attitude to it, and if their appeal is successful overturning the jurisdictional issue and it comes back into their jurisdiction, then anybody that wants to line up against Conor Benn from a British Boxing Board of Control licensing point of view, from whether it be a trainer or sparring partner, is going to have a problem.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that Conor Benn has got. And
those are the words of Talk Sport with guest Frank Warren, and they discuss Conor Benn. He's fighting this weekend in Orlando. No name opponent. To me, this is just, if it's no name, that means this is a stay busy fight. This is a fight for him to come back. It was a loophole, a way for him to fight outside of the UK because he is British. And my counterpunch on that is this, okay? What everybody's saying about Conor Benn is absolutely true. What is he doing fighting? Why is he fighting? This, that, and the other. However, you always have to question why. Always. Based on whose fighter that is. We have Simon Jordan and company. We have Frank Warren, the opposing promoter. Here's the $1 million question. Would Frank Warren be going through this much trouble if it was for his fighter? Now, would Eddie Hearn take the stance that he would have took if it wasn't his fighter? And to answer those questions, Frank wouldn't be going out of his way to crucify Conor Benn for taking some shit, whatever it was, over a year ago. Okay, now it was over a year ago. And would Eddie Hearn be so keen to defend that fighter if he wasn't his fighter, on top of being the son of a legend? No, he wouldn't. Okay, this is a shitty situation for Conor Benn. Conor Benn has paid a lot of money to make sure he fights again. They haven't ruled anything. They're just doing loopholes for him to do what he loves to do, that do what he knows to do. If anybody was in that situation, the opposing team would be like they are. Frank Warren would be on Eddie Hearn's fighter shit. If it was a Hearn's fighter, Eddie Hearn would be on his shit talking shit. Or any other promoter. See, here's the thing about Eddie. Eddie crucified Canelo Alvarez when Canelo Alvarez had that clenbuterol in his system. He said he shouldn't fight again and this, that, and the other. He's a disgrace to the sport and all that. Then until he started promoting the motherfucker. Okay, so look, it's a bad situation to be in if you're Conor Benn. People are going to talk about you, regardless of what really happened with you, what really was the explanation. I mean, the true explanation of what was in your system. We'll never know that shit. Let's just be real. How do we know that? We won't. We won't know what Conor Benn took twice. We won't know. Whatever he took had to be something strong enough to be detected. Versus the shit that's not detected in other fighters that we don't catch or probably will never catch because they're too clever. They're, you know, their dosages, they know their body. You know what I mean? They know the drug, how the drug affects their body and their mind and whatever. Right? They know those things, and therefore they will never get caught. Unfortunately for Conor Benn, he did. Unfortunately for Robert Alenius, he did. Unfortunately for Luis Ortiz, he did. Unfortunately for Roy Jones, Fernando Vargas, Dillian White, countless, Sugar Shane. Bro, countless people have been taking shit all through boxing, especially the turn of the millennium. I just think they might have took it in the 90s. The only difference was they just didn't know about the shit. So if you don't know what the test's for, that could slide through the radar, under the radar. Okay, so it's no big news or new thing to boxing. It's a new thing for them to get caught because I think now they have the sophisticated tests and the testing, and they have a revised list on the shit you shouldn't take because it's either banned, because it's bad for your body, but it helps your body temporarily, or it's something like a performance-enhancing drug that gives you abilities that you shouldn't normally have, or gives you more ability of the ability you already have, or it makes you heal quicker, or weight cut, or some other benefit that you wouldn't normally have. Does those fucking pills, drugs, banned substances, PEDs, do they make you invincible? No, they don't. You can get knocked the hell out like Fernando Vargas did when he was juiced up. A juiced up motherfucker can get knocked out too. Okay, so that's my take on it. Let Conor Benn fight. He ain't the first and he ain't the last. So why are you fucking with him because he's Eddie Hearn's fighter? Eddie Hearn, shut up. If the next motherfucker gets caught with drugs, you should be quiet. Because there's no need of people continuing to crucify these fighters for doing something that they've been doing. Let's just be real. You know, sometimes 99.44444, there might have been a guy that didn't know he was taking something. And he knew in his heart that he wasn't taking something. And for those people, I feel sorry for you because you're still in the same circle of the people that did. Let's just be real, okay? Let's call a spade a spade. Let's keep it a buck. But anyway, that's my counterpunch on Conor Benn fighting this weekend. I hope to see the fight. You guys tell me what you think about Simon Jordan, Frank Warren stating that Conor Benn, Eddie Hearn's fighter, should not be fighting this weekend in America or anywhere else. Of course, please subscribe, and you guys can counterpunch. Peace!